Welcome back to another edition of Fortinet Live. I'm your host, Rick Peters, the CISO for Operational Technology for North America, and I'm honored today to have Roberto Gutierrez, the CISO for OSI Group. Hey, welcome, Roberto.
Glad to be here, Rick. Thank you.
You know, it's always great to talk about topics that you and I are passionate about, and certainly operational technology and locking down infrastructure here close to home and actually around the globe, we know is very, very important. And, recognize that OSI Group, huge stakeholder in the food and beverage industry. And so I thought it might make sense to let's just chat a little bit today and talk about, what really matters to you and I, because I know we have some great ideas and I love the partnership that we share together.
Thank you. No, anything that is related to operational technology, security, cybersecurity is always of interest, and I'm really happy to be here and talking to you.
Well, terrific. Along the lines of OT and specifically to the food and beverage industry, can you tell us a little bit about, the significant trends that are impacting your business area?
Yeah. Food and beverage has been always innovative in essence, right, in nature. You see that great products stay in the market for longer periods of time. To me, innovation is always a trend, even though it's not a new trend. However, you will likely see that current lifestyle shift has basically taken over. You hear a lot of people talking about health and wellness, plant-based eating, priority on sustainability, food safety, food quality, responsible and safe manufacturing are all based within the top trends right now.
As we think about the technology space, that is operational technology for food and beverage, what's top of mind today for you as a technology leader at OSI Group?
Yeah, thank you for that question. It's a great question. To me, top of mind as a security practitioner is basically to maintain secure manufacturing operations and to protect OSI's people and OSI's information while still allowing for that innovation to happen. It's a great challenge because it's an always changing landscape, and you need to stay on top of it.
It's interesting. You and I have shared much in our history in talking about the trends and the changes, right? And certainly the last 2 years, we've seen a ton of growth, and not just driven by the pandemic. It was happening before 2020. So we're just seeing, like you said, an acceleration. And you talked about innovation already at OSI Group. As the perimeter has shifted to the edge, certainly there's implications for security. How does that impact your security strategy, given the proliferation of edges, the devices, and data?
Yeah, it definitely have an impact on the strategy, right? It has reinforced the importance of maintaining a culture of continuous control enhancement and control assessment. It also has pushed us to look for new technologies and alternatives to increase security and control, while avoiding adding security layers or layers of complexity within security to both core operations or the security framework. So it is always about understanding how not only technology but also our operations are progressing and stay on pace with that.
It seems like there's so much happening today. We talk about trends all the time, and certainly, innovation has been driving so much that's going on. The whole idea of digital transformation, convergence of environments, and all the connectivity certainly challenges us all, right, to stay on top of that. Is there a singular area in the cybersecurity trend area that is absolutely top priority at OSI?
That's a loaded question because you have so many areas to look at, but definitely industrial control system security, right? When you are a manufacturing company, your revenue stream is coming out of maintaining operations. So that to me is my top priority as a cybersecurity practitioner here at OSI.
It's interesting talking to you and many others, and we always come back to safety as priority one. Get that, right? Because that's true and absolute for your plant, for your workforce. But of course, as you suggested before, to your customers. It has to resonate, from across that entire business life cycle. And so much today, it seems like we're reading headlines about what's happening out there from those bad actors who threaten the vitality of our businesses, right? They're interested in disrupting our operations, affecting our reputation, stealing our trade craft, our intellectual property. How real are these concerns, given the change in the growth and the threat landscape today for you at OSI?
Yeah. Reality is that our networks and boundaries are basically diluting and converging, right? And that is definitely expanding our threat landscape. We are considered a critical manufacturing, critical organization just because we are in the food and beverage industry. But now you have challenges, like you have resources that either cannot be present at your plants, resources that might be providing you with core support, core maintenance, core diagnostic, or also, and you still need to allow for those resources to provide you with that support, right? With that, so that basically is one of the core challenges that we have lived over the last year. I think it has increased definitely our capabilities as well and ways to adapt. We now need to allow also for more information to flow in between what you used to call your air gap, OT environment, and your business environment. And not only is information, it's also instructions on how to operate, what you need to change, what you need to modify to increase efficiencies, to maintain production, to maintain safety of some of those products that you are basically manufacturing on a continuous basis. And also, we cannot stand still, right? We cannot just stand and see how that happened and not continue to look for ways to keep securing that continuously expanding network that you have. We also know that legacy practices are also advancing. You got a great example in the Porti model that even when it was created a long time ago, it's still advancing to try to understand how IT and IoT is basically adding to the threat landscape. So for us, it's a real threat change. It's a continuous risk mitigation and risk assessment, and we cannot stand still. As I said, we need to continuously move to allow for our manufacturing operations to maintain their safety and their quality as well.
So much to manage, and clearly data and intelligence, right? It's the commodity of interest today, both within our companies and the customers we serve, but also for those seeking to disrupt us. Are you seeing a trend at OSI also that builds in this idea of leveraging live intelligence as a part of raising that bar at OSI?
Of course, and that intelligence is now shifting to the cloud, right? When in a traditionally operational environment like it is food manufacturing, now you are seeing more and more push for you to allow communications and network traffic in between what you were protecting the most and what is the cloud. That sometimes is well controlled, sometimes no. So it is a continuous trend. We now see a lot of smaller devices that are being added to our infrastructure just to monitor, certain key aspect of our manufacturing process, and those were not there 30 years ago, even though when we were just producing probably the same products that we produce today. But again, it's just a continuous advancement of technology, and we have the responsibility to allow that to happen in a safe way.
Roberto, we've known each other for a while, and clearly you're so respected in the community as an OT CISO leader, someone who is paving the way forward for the food and beverage industry, and is so important across all of the sectors today in operational technology. But as a leader who is looked at for counsel and guidance, how would you advise your peers when it comes to securing the evolution of IoT, that is the Internet of Things, and the industrial Internet of Things and devices as you move forward?
Thank you for the thought words about me. I just keep striving to be a good example for what we need to do, and to help my organization as far as we can. Top 3 advice that I will give to my peers. The first one is know what you need to protect, know what you have, know your environment. Asset management processes are often overseen. People just lack those processes, but those are core to understand what you need to protect the most. The second one is just to create your own security baseline. Understand what are the security best practices, what are the standards that are out there, but also ensure that those are adapted to your own environment. And the third one is a critical one, to look for security solutions that are integrated in nature. To me, has been one of the objectives since I joined OSI is to reduce the complexity of our security framework. And not only that, with reducing complexity in the security framework, I'm also reducing complexities in the security operations. So I will say ensure that your security solutions are created in a way that they are naturally integrated, not as a result of a mixing of different solutions that are definitely created to mitigate different type of risks.
You know, what a tremendous opportunity to shape the landscape as we move forward. You know, what we realize, and as I was listening to you there, Roberto, we recognize that this really is a team sport. We have to work together, and partnership is huge, right? And I love this idea of integrated solutions to reduce complexity, because it's the mantra of what we believe in, right? We know that even operational technology system owners today are embracing change, but of course they're looking to be able to sustain those changes over time, right? I like to think about how do we design in with transparency and give that speed and the scale? And you've just spoken to all of those. You know, I always appreciate the opportunity to chat with you. It's a pleasure every time, Roberto. I want to say again, thank you for joining us today and being a part of this Fortinet Live conversation.
Thank you, Rick. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and to exchange ideas with you anytime. Stay safe.
And you as well, Roberto. This is Fortinet Live.